I'm not exactly square. It's hard to square it up every time. But the good part about that is you can use your finger switches to raise your arms up. Pull your pin. That gets you in line. This pin. I'm going to start with this pin because that one's a little closer. And I got the finger switch. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this pin as well. The reason I'm going to do it is when I lower it now, it will catch probably on that side of my dog. So I'll probably just leave it sticking. Pull this pin here. See how I let it line up there? Then we'll lower it in. You can see it's off a little bit. It's off a little bit more. So I'll lower it down a little bit more. Now, if you got somebody else with you, you can back up if we're out here. So we'll pull up on this, release this side, just line it up. Put this pin back in, come around to that side. We'll extend this out. Lock that pin in. Now we got most of it locked. So now what we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and hook a drive line up. Well, I'm going to hook the top link up, then I'll show you why. To make sure these both of them latch back into place, because they will move in and out if you don't latch them. You want them locked when you're using it. The other reason is I raise that tiller up off the ground. That allows the tines to move. It makes it easier to hook up the PTO, to line the PTO. That one latched on the far side. I walked to the latch. I heard it. You heard that clicking? That's what that was. This side, you see it right there. It's not latched yet. We're going to raise it up a little bit, so we may just have to pull the latch. Once that's latched, take the PTO. I don't like to leave this on the tiller when I'm using it because it can swing around and catch it, so I'll lay it off to the side. We got lucky there, it went right off. But if it doesn't, you can reach down here and turn the tines a little bit wrong. Go back on the collar, lock it in place, put the shield down, and I'll hook this chain that keeps that shield from spinning. Hook it right back in that hole. Now we can use the top link to adjust the way we want the tiller, angle of the tiller. how you want it to throw and how far down you want it to dig. I usually keep it somewhat level, maybe tilted back a little bit. But once I get it set, then the only thing else we need to do is two other things we need to do. We need to make sure and raise the jack stand up so it's out of the way and we don't catch and bend it. The other thing is to lock our stabilizer arms in. And I wanted to look back here and see. And you can see the tiller is not quite as wide as the tractor. So what I usually do is, if it's not that way, I'll set it just a hair to the right because you're working more off the right side. So I'll set it to the right a little bit. That way it's tilling out that track the tire. You can overlap and do that. Go ahead, raise the jack stand up. That way it's not catching the ground. This is where it's nice to have another person. Lines up with the tire, pretty much the tire right there. Put this pin back in. I usually lock from that side. I usually just lock it more solid from one side to the other, typically the left side. That way it's good to start. Until it's hooked up. So you're on your 3-point hitch. You have your stop point. I'm going to raise it up some so you can see the stop point. That's your stop point. To adjust that stop, use this dial to adjust that stop. You have to watch the hitch because it'll come all the way up on you. So we want it to till at that depth right there. So we're going to that depth. And it will not drop below that depth unless you override it to go on down. So every time you would raise, so if I raise this thing up and I let it down to here, that's where as low as it's going to go. Now the other good part about that is, so you can also use your toggles. So if I want to raise it up, I can just raise it up, get the end of the row, push it back down, it's going to go to wherever it's set at the bottom. Wherever you got it set, that's where it's going to drop to. So if you got your stop in place, you can use your toggle raise it up and down when you turn, or need to raise it up for something to drop it back down. Then it's always going to go the same depth as long as you use that depth stop to adjust it. You can still do it manually. I can raise it up and down. I can override it if I want to go down farther. Round button is your dial. That's what your depth stop adjusts, and you can. There's numbers. That's just reference numbers to sort of tell you where you're at. So like right now I'm about 5. So, of course, it's not in the ground because we're on concrete. Yeah. You can adjust that. That's really handy to use. You can also, if it's going too fast or slow, you can slow it up and you can slow it down some. The speed. See, it's a little bit smoother now. So I'm going to raise it up some. I'm going to go ahead and let the jack stand back. I'll let the jack down. Another thing I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to let it down some, and I'm going to go ahead and pull it in. I'm going to let it spin back one thing. Couple reasons I do that is that way when I go to pull back in, I'm centered, but also it makes it easier to unhook because everything's in line. It's not offset at an angle. Sort of tends to put it in a bind a little bit, so it just takes the pressure off the thing. Once I do that, jack stands down. I'm just going to roll it. bind. If it does that, a lot of times I'll just raise it back up a little bit. See how easy it come off? Set that off to the side, then I'll let it back down. I'll let it back down. We got pressure off the hitch. I'm going to go ahead and remove the top link. I usually see if the pins are loose. If not, I can still work the hitch a little bit, probably to release it. And sometimes it won't, you have to put a little pressure. There's that pin. Hopefully this one's loose too. It is. That, I'm going to raise the lift up some so it gets it out of the holes. When I put the pins back in, then I can lock the arms in. PCO holder. You can also clean this up here. It's hard to do on these tillers. This really works better. And you can hook it in those holes either side, basically. Just need something to hold against it. The only thing you have to be careful with is how it's setting in here in position. A lot of times it's not enough room to get it out without pulling up some. You have to be careful. So I may just drop it down here, pull out, and then I'll move it back up so it's off.